Excuse me, is anybody sitting here? Sorry, this seat's taken. Sorry.
Brandon, it's been about a week and a half since the last time we really talked. Movie nerd talks about stuff, and dude, I went through so much content I got to tell you about, and yeah, we're gonna get into it. But well, how was your birthday weekend? How was your birthday? We talked about it. You went to Vegas a little bit. You saw WrestleMania. You saw a bunch of people there. How'd that go?
Yeah, it was a blast, man. It was a blast. But truly the best part of, the time off was doing nothing. Like I just took one day that I had like nothing to do, and that was the best birthday present I could have given myself.
That's dope. I just started my vacation like yesterday. Like I have a full week off, and I'm excited. I'm excited for it. I'm going down to India a little bit and going down to
Okay.
Milwaukee for a little bit. Yeah, it's gonna be a
What's
big
what's in
one.
Milwaukee?
My brother lives out there, so we're gonna go brewery hopping, Top Golf out there. Check out some movies. I think that's where I might end up seeing Devil Wears Prada 2, actually.
Oh man, you didn't get your tickets yet?
No,
Wow.
because I didn't know where I was gonna be. I knew I was gonna be out of town this week. I knew I was gonna be.
I need
Do you
you to
think that's
lock
gonna
in,
be
my
a
friend.
sold out theater, like where I have to
Yes,
worry about like I'm not gonna get a good
1000%.
seat
Yeah, I'm saying it right now.
over Michael
Absolutely.
Jackson? That's insane.
Bro, it's next week.
That's insane that you're
I'm
telling me
telling
that.
you now. I'm telling. Okay, you know what? We'll see.
I bought my Michael Jackson ticket like less than a week prior to it coming out, and I got a very decent seat. So you can't tell me anything, Brandon.
The Devil Wears Prada is a beyond cult classic. It's an institution, Rob. Even when I was on a work trip, and that's all people were talking about. I was in Atlanta, and they had a whole me and you were talking about like the shoe in the middle of the city. Like it is a monument. So I just trying to get you ready, man. I'm trying to get you ready.
Yeah, I think I'll be okay, Brandon. I think I'm safe to say. I want to actually send you a picture of where I end up sitting, and if it's prime seating, I need an apology.
Okay, but I'll send you my theater being sold out. So
Okay.
just you wait.
Okay.
Which is more likely to happen?
You- so let's go. I got some Hollywood updates. This was the last time we talked. And then from there, we're gonna talk about the content because some seasons ended, some shows have started. I want to get into with you. First, like we talked last time we recorded the episode, we were like mid CinemaCon, but now it's officially over with, and a lot of stuff came out that we didn't talk about. The biggest, obviously, being Avengers Doomsday. The trailer was shown at CinemaCon, but we didn't get to see it actually. Instead, we just got like breakdowns of what it was, and it sounds incredible. It showed a lot of stuff, and when can we expect to see that? There's rumors sooner than later, but I am not predicting until July. I think it's going to be attached to the Spider-Man trailer or Spider-Man movie, which is also around the same time as the D23 showcase because Marvel is going to be there again as they always do. Or not D23, San Diego Comic-Con. That's what it is. So people are saying it's going to be released around then, but some people are also going to say it's released in May because there's also the Mandalorian and Grogu coming out of the movie, and it's a
I
Disney
think it will
project.
be attached to Mando and Grogu. I think that's the perfect spot for it, especially because now we know the trailer exists. It was one thing when we were waiting for, like obviously they have to cut it together and they got to figure out the tone. But now that they've released it to at least a small batch of people, they have feedback and they know like the audience reaction so far. I think it's just a matter of time.
I agree. I saw rumors like, oh, it's gonna be released tomorrow. It's gonna be no, it's not. Like, who are you kidding? On a Monday too? That's insane. That's the no. But some some trailers we did get released already, like Supergirl that was showed at the convention. We got like the next day. A big one I want to talk to you about that I don't know if we talked too much about it was Clayface. We actually got to see that now to the public.
My God.
What'd you think of it? Because I know you're not a horror guy, but it is in the DCU. So are you gonna like man up and go see this one or what?
I was so confident that like I'm gonna go watch this movie and I'll have a blast. Rob, this trailer freaked me the hell out. Like genuinely, if it didn't have a DC label to it, I would not be going to see it. Like I was completely turned off. But because it is DC, and this is gonna make no sense, I kinda felt more intrigued. Like I respect the route they're going. I just know it's going to be a hard time for me to sit through it. Because especially like body horror is like really at the top of my list for things I do not mess with. And this is what the entire movie is based on. It's a decision, man. It's a decision, but we'll see. It seems like everybody liked what we've seen so far. How did you take it?
I liked it. I didn't think it was as scary as you're describing it, but
Bro, his face was melting.
I'm more. I've seen worse. I've definitely seen worse. But when it's like that, like when he said like it's melting, like he mushes his face a little bit, I was like, it's different when you're watching a horror movie about it. Like you hear your bones cracking and stuff like that. Like you could, it's obviously CGI. That's why it's not as scary to me. Like I know this is fake. I'm able to put myself aside and like, okay, this isn't too crazy or nothing like that. But I'm excited for it. And then James Gunn confirmed this is going to be the first movie out of timeline chronological order. This is going to be taking place before Superman. So there might be references to the larger DCU at, just references. And maybe Superman's first emerging. Maybe this is even way before Superman. Who knows? And this is also not attached to the Robert Pattinson Batman, which is kind of what I think we thought that was going to be at one point. And
Yeah, I definitely thought
I'm
it
not
was
upset
going to
that
be.
it's
I
not.
still kind of feel that way. They keep saying it's not, but I'm waiting for the surprise. Like this, especially with the tone, man, and like the way it was shot. I know there were some behind the scenes pictures that got leaked. It's like a very similar logos as we've seen in the Patterson movie. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm still holding out hope.
Yeah, the biggest thing I'm really hoping for this movie, I don't want it to be like Joker, kind of like where you feel sympathetic, you're rooting for the villain, basically. No, make this guy a villain. I want to hate this guy. So by the time he's introduced as a Batman villain, I was like, yeah, I want Batman to kick this guy's ass,
This is where we're on opposite sides of the fence because I am interested very much so in the journey that this character is going to go on. Because did you ever watch the Harley Quinn TV show?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
It's fantastic, right?
That with
And obviously Clayface is
what's her name? Coke. Yeah.
yeah, Cuckoo. And it's a phenomenal show, but Clayface is obviously a completely different rendition in that movie or that show, like a completely different interpretation. So although I know that we're not like I'm happy we're not getting the silly goofy one, I still like there's a lot of lore there. There's a lot to kind of dissect into, and I don't just want a paint by numbers, here's your villain movie. Like I really want to get introspective on that mother effer. So I'm pretty excited for that.
Okay. Yeah. Jeez, what does it say? October is supposed to come out or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, we have a lot more stuff to go see then, and I think a couple more DCU shows coming out as well.
Lanterns.
By that time, I might completely change. Lanterns, yes, I'm excited for that. Supergirl, I'm excited for that. They officially started filming Superman Man of Tomorrow too. I'm excited about that news.
Yeah, they have to. It comes out in 2026. Gotta get on it, brother.
Yeah, and a couple more trailers I want to talk to before we get into. We finally got the trailer for Coyote versus Acme, which was recently shelved like a year or two ago by Warner Brothers as a tax write-off. It was picked up by Catch Up Entertainment, and now it's being released, and it looks decent. It looks okay. Like everyone's confused why it was shelved. Who knows? Maybe we'll see it and I'm like, oh yeah, they should have kept this on the screen.
Anything can look decent when you only give us 90 seconds of it. When
I agree.
That's put together a trailer. Like obviously that's the best piece. I will say the marketing behind it when they released it on tax day, like that subtle jab is so funny to me. Like it actually did make me like, all right, I kind of want to go see that in spite just because.
That is funny. I didn't realize that. That's actually a good dig. Another one, we got not a trailer, but first looks at Netflix's live-action Scooby Doo. It started officially filming, starring McKenna Grace as Daphne, Tanner Hagen as Shaggy, Ashley Ryder as Velma, and Maxwell Jenkins as Fred Jones. Paul Walter Hauser is also attached to this, but I don't know what his role is. I'm going to be mad if he's voicing the dog because I don't know about that. But I'm interested in this. I love Scooby Doo. I grew up on Scooby Doo, and I don't think it's gonna be great or phenomenal. Like I don't think it's gonna be nothing crazy. It's a Netflix TV show as well, but I'm gonna be watching either way. So let's go. I'm excited. Go ahead.
This is gonna be the show of a generation, Rob. I am pumped. Am I gonna watch every episode? No, because I don't think it's for me. I don't think it's for us. Like I saw one tweet that kind of summed up my feelings of like, we keep getting sick and tired of like all this nostalgia bait. But when it comes to Scooby-Doo, every generation deserves their iteration of Scooby-Doo. So I saw the cast photos. McKenna Grace can do no wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I think it has potential.
As long as it, like, I think we're on the same page. Like, it has our attention. At least give it a shot. So I mean, that's all that we can ask for. I'm excited for it. You said it also gonna depend on how the dog looks as well. The CGI looks too.
Is it because we've had terrible, like Scooby has looked like absolute trash and he's also looked like incredible and we still watch either way.
True. This one is not breaking news, but it's kind of newsworthy to me at least. The Clueless series that was going to be streaming on Peacock with Alicia Silverstone got canned. It's not going to happen anymore, which that I don't think that deserved even a sequel series at all. Like that movie's weird. She falls in love with her stepbrother. It's like, why are we showcasing that?
It is 2026, my friend.
That's pretty much all I got for the Hollywood updates, but I have been going through hella content, and one of the first thing I want to start off with you, Brandon, like, I think you'll be proud of me. I'm more than halfway through the season 1 of The Pit, and I'm hooked. I'm hooked. I'm deep into it.
I told you.
I can tell you my favorite characters. I can tell you who I don't really care for, but
give it all to me. Give it all to me. It's that time.
Well, obviously, Dr. Robbie, I love him. You know, he's from a previous the ER series back in the early days. He's phenomenal. I love like the British actor, the young kid. Ooh, I can't remember his name. The one who like changes the scrubs every 2 minutes. He's Whitaker. I like him a lot. I love. Is it Bryan Cranston's daughter, the blonde with the glasses?
Yeah, Mel.
Dude, she is phenomenal. I love her. I even have a crush on her. She's amazing. I like her a lot.
Oh, Rob.
But yeah. But like you said, like it's real time. This whole thing is one day, and like, god damn, like I'm so invested. Like even I'm getting upset. Like, get these people out of these rooms. We need these beds, you know.
And you gave me so much shit when I told you how quick I got through that series. You were like, "Damn, you watched that's 12 hours in one day. That's crazy."
That is true.
Yeah. How's it feel now?
Yeah, because I play like on my iPad, like when I'm cooking or something like that, I'll have it playing, and it's fast paced. I love it, man. Like you're like, oh man, like they're working with like maybe 10 to 12 different patients at the once. Like it's incredible, and I'm more interested. Like I would love to like watch I would love to watch like behind the scenes how the show was made, like because obviously they can't be filming like straight back to back to back. Like they have to take breaks like different days and stuff like that. Come back. Like I'm curious, like how like the production was. Like, okay, you got to remember this person's in this room, and I'm gonna look up YouTube's videos about it. But I'm more than halfway through. This 13 episodes or 13 or 14 episodes in the first season. Like, god damn, this is a long shift. I'm tired of watching. From watching these guys. And to keep your level of sanity, and this is all crazy.
You knew about like that it was shot in one day before watching, right? We talked about that.
Yeah, the actual yes.
Yeah, and
like
I think
the whole series
I didn't realize that. Like it was so bingeable because I was like, "What is happening right now?" Like it's the smartest, and it being on which one was that? That was Pit Fest. So
Max.
with everything that happens on there, like yeah, man. Just so you know, season 2 is on 4th of July, so you can only imagine what happens on that crazy explosion-filled holiday.
Oh man, I didn't know that. I'm excited for that now. Season 3, I know they are confirmed for that to come back, but I don't know when will be released.
No, that's what I love about it. It's should be released in January of next year. They are sticking to the old school 1 year format.
Well, speaking of 1 year formats, let's go on to the next show. Invincible finally wrapped up. You know, we've been talking about this every episode. We got one more year to see season 5. What a way to end. We talked about this as an animation show, and it's an adult animation show, like meaning it's very gruesome, and it's such good storytelling. We talked about our favorite episode last time, and this one, like, it wasn't as action-packed filled, but it leaves you wanting way more. Like, you're excited for what's coming next season. And I think this got like 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's incredible. Like, it deserves 100%. A good twist. This is a spoiler for everyone who hasn't caught up yet, but
Major
spoiler with E's character. When Mark left to go to this war, she was pregnant and she was struggling to tell Mark, and she didn't tell Mark. So by the time he comes back, we've seen her thicker. Like she has gained weight. Good for Mark is he did not like he didn't even seem to know. Well, I'm not sure if he noticed,
it's
but
okay to be thick.
He's like, I got you, girl.
Okay.
I like you thick.
You like it.
I like you thick. And then man, when she said the words, like, Mark, I had an abortion, my jaw dropped. I was like, no way they did this twist in this show. Because I think in the comics, she does have the kid. What did you think about the finale?
Dude, this season it's up there with season 1 for me. I'm like, it obviously,
Really?
Dude, are you kidding me? The last 3 episodes are some of my favorite in TV history. I know the biggest thing they changed in this episode was how they deal with his PTSD, right? Like he's been through so much, and like the visions in the episode were like, just a forewarning about what was going to happen. And then when it finally does, and Mark is given this ultimatum, this deal that he doesn't actually have a choice in. He was pissing me off pretending that he had a choice. Like it's such an easy yes and thank God instead of killing billions of people. But it was just like the perfect way to wrap up and keep like that fear surrounding us for everything that comes next, man. I loved it. The Debbie Nolan stuff was top tier. Omni-Man back on Earth, just, reflecting on all the mistakes he's made. It was a very character driven episode, especially coming from the not necessarily action packed, but like violent, like fear filled episode that we just came from, prior. So it was a perfect way to end the season, and I couldn't be more excited for season 5.
Yeah, one of the biggest. I saw a comparison to a different show that as soon as I saw, I thought that's exactly how I felt back in the day. That episode from Teen Titans with Robin when he was in PTSD with Slade and he was visualizing him there. It was very good comparison. I was like, man, it's at the end scene where he thinks he's seeing Thrag in the sky with him, and then nope, he's really there, and he's his worst fear is you gotta be shitting yourself. I was watching breakdowns of it, because that show ends with him in the sky above the clouds, by himself, and then seeing Thrag, and then he's by himself again. You're safe nowhere. You go to clear out your mind, and man. And then how it ends on a cliffhanger with
you nailed it. He took that flight to go take a break. It was supposed to be his safe space. He's in the air, in some random location, and just opens up, and you have feet him, bro. He was launching combos, and he didn't even get punched. He got muffed. Dude threw him and said, bro, stop. I'm actually, if anything, I can appreciate how reasonable Thrag was being. He was actually being very chill, where he could have just displayed his strength first, right? Murdered, just a quick 10 milli and said, here are my terms. But instead, he went we won't interfere, we won't get it. And General Krieg is already out here bussing. He already got the motorcycle eye patch, got the girl. He's having a great time. They will be living among us. And I just can't imagine the stress of that. That's a ticking time bomb. But that's your only choice, man.
You're man, watching Mark is the most stressful thing. He's so real with his decisions. He has a mental breakdown when Eve, he was I wasn't here. I was off fighting this war. And then you go to this war side of the story and he's I'm still fucking up. It's such real decisions, and he is just human as well at the end of the day, dealing with his decisions, and you can see a tournament versus a Superman show, where oh, I save the day at the end of the day. I get to go home to Lois Lane. It's not the same. You are making horrible decisions, and you can't make a decision without hurting somebody.
What we're finally seeing is real consequences. Right. And that's the thing that a lot of TV shows or movies or any content kind of like to skip over. You missed out and now you don't have a kid. And if you could have stuck around, you could. But what else was he going to do? Right. Lives were on the line, not just of Earth, but the entire galaxy. So I understand the internalizing of that. It's a no-win situation. And I can only, feel for him. But his character is learning, evolving, and growing, and unfortunately, this is kind of what comes with it.
Yeah. Great show. Cannot wait. We're gonna be excited when season 5 comes back next year, and the creators do wish and hope to have 7 and 9 seasons in total, but it's all gonna depend on Prime, where they're willing to renew and stuff like that.
It's one of their most popular.
I think in the comics, maybe 60% of the way done through the comic line.
Yeah.
But there's still plenty more story to tell. A couple things real quick that I want to talk to you about that I've seen on Prime. Speaking of which, I've seen the new Mark Wahlberg, Paul Hauser movie, Balls Up. Don't even waste your time. That movie sucked. It was ridiculous.
Not worth it?
It pissed me off. Why? I think on my review, on my letterbox, I wrote everyone in this movie was so terribly miscasted. It's incredible how they got Mark Wahlberg to do this movie.
And it's that thing, right, where some of these are just starting to feel like straight cash grabs. So you think that falls in line with that mentality?
If it was released in theaters, I would say yeah, but I was confused. This is a Prime movie. Who cares? What do you think? Really, people are going to tune in to see this? Another movie I've seen is the Theo Von, David Spade movie, Busboys, came out. I think I wrote in my review, this felt like a Prime comedy. It was not worth going to theaters to see. It wasn't funny for me. It's the last 45 minutes. This movie, they wrote Theo Von and David Spade wrote this movie together. And you could tell Theo Von is not an actor. He's more of a comedian, stand-up comedian. And I like Theo Von as a comedian, but it was kind of rough seeing him some of these scenes. Yesterday you mentioned I'm sorry, I want to go see the movies again. I saw I Swear. This movie came to light because this is also under controversy. Like this movie, this is based off a true story where a man has Tourette syndrome, and this broke headlines earlier this year when the man who this movie was based off was at the BAFTA Awards, and he was the one who said the N-word to the Michael B. Jordan on stage,
Right.
and yeah, so I was like, I don't even know if I want to see this, but I'm glad I watched it. It was very uplifting. It's a good movie. Great performances by like the cast because I'm pretty positive. Yeah, I know they don't have Tourette's in real life, but couldn't fool me. They did a fantastic job acting this. It's a feel good movie. It was worth seeing. I was the only one in my theater. I had the whole theater to myself.
It's always
It's been a
best
minute since
feeling.
that happened. hmm Other than that, I think that's it. I mean, Daredevil, obviously, we're still going strong. Jessica Jones finally joined the season, and I don't know if she's gonna be back or not. I don't. They really haven't led with she will be back this season. What else? What else have you been watching?
The Boys, of course, one episode behind right now, but show's heating up. It definitely is the I'm good with this being the last season. Like I'm not saying I'm necessarily over it, but writing's on the wall, and I hope they go out in a blaze of glory. But really, dude, you almost missed the biggest show that we were excited to talk about.
What's that?
Euphoria.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we could put that in weekly rotations. Euphoria, and I was talking because I'm currently watching this like with a friend who's big on it too. And I talked to him like, dude, like the biggest theme of this whole season so far seems like OnlyFans. OnlyFans is a huge topic in this season. The Maddie's back. Maddie's back, and I don't think she was showcased too much in the first episode. I'm excited to see her storyline. Like she had that interview with that big CEO, and that was a very impressive scene. How she like just picked up her phone and stuff like that. I was like, what the balls on this chick? Cindy Sweeney is marrying Jacob, and that whole thing. His dad. Excuse me, I can't remember his name. The one who passed away.
Eric.
He finally joins the show, and I'm not gay. And he's like, dude, I seen you fuck guys in the ass.
So,
Wild.
I was a pitcher, not
I'm
a catcher.
predicting. Yeah. I'm predicting because like this one focuses on Rue owing money to that big drug dealer, and then the other big. Excuse me, seeing that football player, what's his name in this show is hilarious
Marshawn
to
Lynch?
me too. Marshawn Lynch is hilarious to see in this show for some reason. But his boss kind of like recruits Rube and she takes over her debt. He pays off her debt so she can come work for him now. That's gonna be a bigger deal than I think what they're leading on because it ends like with them selling a pig to the old boss's house. I think they're gonna kill each other, or one's gonna kill each other. Like it has to end that way. And then I think we're gonna see like 2 or 3 episodes on
Angel?
that.
What do you think happens with Angel?
Which one's that? The stripper?
Yeah, who goes to rehab?
I think she's gonna get killed. She has to be
Yeah,
killed.
she's dead, bro.
Someone's gonna
She's
come
dead.
after. Yeah, because like they took her in, and Rue's like, "Oh, there's no paperwork." Cause like someone's killing her back there. Like she's not gonna survive that night.
Yeah, I think the prevailing theory is that she's getting harvested for organs, on the black market. But yeah, that girl is, and what a phenomenal actress! Like, holy shit, you only had, a handful of scenes, like, on this show, and you made an impact that I think will be felt for the rest of the season. So just props to her.
That scene with Rue and her in the car, my jaw dropped, and I was like, "No way, Zendaya did this." I was like, "Damn, dude, that's crazy." Yeah. It's picking up pretty good. Rooster's almost done. I've been watching that on Max. I think we talked about the other show I was watching at DTF. Yeah, obviously we talked about that. That was, yeah, I think definitely everyone should give that a chance. And it's so weird. I really want to hear what you think about it.
Okay, I did finish.
There's a couple shows on Netflix that is on my queue.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
There's just a couple shows on my Netflix on my queue that I'm gonna be starting and not finishing. But yeah, you go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, I can't remember if I talked about it, but I finished Shrinking on Apple TV, and I was so excited because I had initially thought that the penultimate episode was the finale, and I was very unsatisfied, Rob. Like, out of character. Wow, that's how they ended it? And I was kind of bummed about it, so I didn't really say too much. And then on Twitter, I'm scrolling and I see a scene that I don't recognize, and I'm like, what's happening right now? And I sprinted to the TV. I saw that there was finale in big bold alerts. I was like, yes. I was so excited and watched it, and every criticism I had dissipated immediately. So I
Okay.
don't think there was a better feeling than that. And I just reminded me on why I love that show so damn much.
That's great to hear. I think I did read, I don't know if it was rumored now that Henry Ford would be coming back, Harrison Ford would be coming back for the next season, the last
Okay.
season.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Other than that, yeah, been through a hell of content. Like I'm gonna, by the time we do next episode, I guarantee you I'm going to be done with, at least for sure, the first season of The Pit, and like halfway through
Yeah.
the second one, hopefully.
Yeah.
And then we'll go through whatever I'm watching, because oh, you know what? One last thing, and I wanted to see if you started this or not too. Beef season 2. I started that and I finished it with Oscar Isaac.
Holy shit.
It's about 8 episodes. Some of them it ranges between like 55 minutes to 45 minutes episodes. Some of them like a half an hour actually. I'm going to see this. I do like season 1 better, but this one is a bingeable series. Oscar Isaac, and not just him, but like everyone has great performances, and it's the first one's literally more just about 2 individuals hating each other. This one's like a couple and couple hating each other with like a third party, with giving them obstacles. Oscar Isaac is amazing in everything he does. I like him a lot, and it's definitely worthy of watching. I finished it in the span of maybe 2 days, 2 or 3 days. But yeah, give that one a watch. Definitely. I want to hear
All
what
right.
you think about it.
$1 million question. You know this is coming up. Obviously, I have not started these yet, so you get to pick. Where do I prioritize? Rooster, DTF St. Louis, Beef. What's my watch order?
Knowing you, I think you would want to start, like, once you start it, I think you would want to finish DTF first, then Beef. I would recommend Beef. And then, like I said, Rooster's good. It's just more of like a background kind of show. Like it's a very light show. It's kind of like Shrinking a little bit. There's nothing too serious in tone. It's a comedy.
It's very
and
serious,
Steve
Rob.
Carell's amazing in it. Well, I would say like first few episodes of season 1,
Okay.
I should say. Like it's him playing college. Like I said, you do see Michael Scott come out a little bit, and him and his characters, but everyone, it's a feel good show. Like it's one like kind of like old sitcom-y feels. Like you're like, oh, it feels like a feel good thing at the end of the episode. Yeah, definitely that's the order. And
Let's
yeah,
do
let
it.
me know
Let's
what you
do it.
start. Now, the meat and potatoes of this episode, I'm so excited to talk about this movie. I think this is like up there, our top 10 for most anticipated of the movies, at least mine. We're here to talk about Michael Jackson movie that we've been talking about. I've been talking about this movie for like the past 2 years, 2 years since it's been announced, and it's a pretty big deal. And I've done my homework on this episode, like some records are broken, some behind the scenes stuff, who they asked to when they make this movie, and what they exactly changed, because it did go through some drastic changes, and there is possible sequel coming out, and I'm just excited. This is a little bit more fresh on your mind because you went to go see it last night, right?
Literally last night, 10 o'clock showing. So extremely fresh and ready.
10 o'clock showing on a Saturday night. Was that packed theater too?
Yes, very much so. And to the point where
Really?
like I had to decide what time I was going to watch by my seat. Like that is why I decided, because there was a 9 o'clock showing, but I would have been sitting in the front, and I can't let that slide. So yeah, very much.
Yeah. I went to go see this on Thursday night, opening night. I was off that day. So I got Wednesday be able to go see it a little bit earlier at the 5 o'clock showing at the IMAX in our local Cherville AMC, and halfway filled. It was only halfway filled. It was
Okay.
crazy. But there was also a pre showing on a Wednesday night. I went to go look at those tickets. That one was almost sold out for that IMAX showing. And then like later o'clock, I think at 6 o'clock showing was the next one. Something not 6 o'clock, maybe 8 o'clock was the next showing. And that one was pretty sold out too. So I got lucky with the timing with not being too crowded, because I would have hated that. But all the videos on Twitter and TikTok I'm seeing, where, like when people are getting up and dancing and stuff like that, I was kind of jealous of that. That seemed kind of funny and fun.
What?
To see
I didn't see that at all, and I would have told people to sit down.
What? People were like dressing up as Michael Jackson, and then like at the end credit scenes, they'll go up in front of the screen and like dancing and everything like that. But like I see people get up in the chair like singing along. I am predicting there is going to be a sing-along version of this movie coming out within the next 2 months. Within the next month, I would say.
Listen, we'll see. This one was on your list that I ended up choosing for our box office bracket, that
Yep,
you said
that's what it was.
guaranteed $1 billion movie. How are you feeling about that?
I have a theory on that. So we talked about, I just mentioned like there is a possible sequel, and that is really going to depend on how well this movie does. I think Lionsgate said like they wanted to make at least 700 million before they greenlight a sequel. And if they do, obviously we wouldn't see that probably till 2028, because they got to film it. But before this movie came out, like the week before, the Rotten Tomatoes score came out, and it got horrible reviews. pretty bad reviews. Like I can't remember, like 50s, maybe even way lower than that actually. That hurt its chances for $1 billion tremendously because everyone I kept asking for, oh, you're gonna go check out the Michael. Yes, every time I ask somebody, oh, you're gonna go see the Michael Jackson movie, you're like, no, I'm hearing bad reviews about it. So I think that's hurting the initial opening weekend. But now that it's out, I think it's going to give it word of mouth of how fun it is and how it is a decent movie. We're going to get into the details, like what we thought about it, but it's a good movie overall. I think the word of mouth is going to spread and it's going to get bigger and bigger. So we might get close to $1 billion. I'm kind of skeptical if we're going to cross that line.
We're crossing $1 billion. First off, you're the one who convinced me. And obviously I've chosen my bracket. Rob, I was just looking it up. So far, opening weekend, $217 million opening worldwide. Okay. $97 million domestic. So obviously this thing is, on top of that. And here's the thing. You're absolutely right with the Rotten Tomatoes. The thing that you got to consider is, although the critics trashed it, I think it has like a 38% or some shit, like for the critic rating, it has a 97% audience score. So to take what you're saying, yes, people are going to say it. And now there's like a chip on its shoulder where people are like, let's go show the critics like how we support movies that are actually good. And that is what I heard going into the movie theater. Like literally as I was walking in, people were going to be like, we'll see if it's actually good. And then when I left, they were like, man, F those critics. They're like, man, like I can't wait to review this one. This movie was gas. Like I was like, hey, pop off. So for it to have 97% on Rotten Tomatoes, for it to do over $200 million worldwide opening, as long as it has legs, and I don't really see another movie topping this. Obviously, we have Devil's Wears Prada coming out this week, and then 2 or 3 weeks from now, we have Mandalorian and Grogu. Like, we have some staying power, so it's going to get close. The budget for this movie was roughly 165, 200 million, so it needs about, $400 to break even. And I don't think that the bar is that high. I think as long as it crosses the 500 mark, they will confidently make a sequel because they already alluded to it in the post credits of this movie. We're getting part 2 of this. I guarantee it.
But the biggest reason, one, it's the money thing. But I'm going to talk about when I have most of my facts here too. They filmed 30% of extra footage that got cut from this movie that they are going to put in the next movie if they can get the clearance of it. So I mean, they already have a good amount of footage for a sequel if they can go do it through with that. And you mentioned the budget like 160 and 200 million, which is great. And I have some records here that it broke already. When they released the trailer, first of all, this is the most expensive biopic ever produced, of all time. Before Bohemian Rhapsody, before Straight Outta Compton, and all stuff like that. It broke records for the highest biopic stream trailer. And within the first 24 hours with 116.2 million, surpassing Taylor Swift Eras Tour and the Bob Marley one trailer. On the first day, also became the biggest first day debut trailer for Lionsgate. Biggest opening debut for a weekend of a musical biopic over Straight Outta Compton and Bohemian Rhapsody. This is Jafar Jackson's film debut. It's also young Michael's, Giuliano, Valdi, and who's 9-year-old. I can't wait to talk about him because I loved him in this movie. From there, let's get some facts that will go along as we come through. Dude, one of the biggest surprises I've seen in this movie, I watched this movie and I didn't realize he was in this movie until afterwards because he transformed so much. Mike Myers. He was in his first, a one scene. But until I started seeing footage of him on the red carpet, it's like, this guy's in this movie, and I looked up who it was. Yeah, he was, he plays the CBS Records as President Walter Yakinev, who convinces MTV to play Michael Jackson's music videos. Didn't even recognize that was him. Yeah, Threads MTV. And then I was like, oh, he was also in Bohemian Rhapsody, a very small role too, who was against the Bohemian Rhapsody song to being played. So cool for him. I like to see him. He's also rocking the white hair look. Have you seen him on the red carpet lately? He looks cool.
No, I haven't, but I'm excited to go check it out.
Some random facts I've seen about this movie. Both Michaels, the Jafar and the young Michael, performed their songs live on set, which means they were singing while they were recording and doing these stands. But it wasn't really entirely their voices when they're through the movie, when the movie was done. It was more of a blend between Michael's real voice and what they were doing. Let me get see him a little bit seamless. When the young Jackson 5 were on it was an American Bandstand. That was the actual sound from the American Bandstand. They took that audio from there and put it with awesome idea. But the cool thing about this is, there's a couple a cappella scenes in this movie where he's singing on the recording That is all Jafar Jackson. Like there is no acapella audio from actual Michael Jackson, so that's really him singing. He has a tremendous voice, just like his father.
Uncle.
What else? What else do we got here? Consultants. I had to look up who was involved in making this movie, and obviously the brothers had a big handful of it. Jermaine Jackson, which I've seen a lot of dirt coming up on this guy. Like this guy was kind of an asshole making this movie. I guess just an asshole in general with his whole family. But Prince Jackson, who was his, Michael's son, eldest son, who was there in a daily presence every day to advise his father's mannerisms and private life. The Jackson Estate by John Branca and John McClane primarily, which John Branca is in this movie, played by Miles Teller. Provided access to archives and legal context. Paris Jackson, which is Michael Jackson's daughter, notably advised Coleman Domingo on how to portray her grandfather. Rich Antone Talawega, brothers who were formerly tour dancers for Michael, worked with Jafar to get his dance moves just right, and the dance moves were incredible in this movie. Monique Lindsay, who previously worked with Michael as his choir director, helped to get his coaching for singing. Karen Langford, a senior executive for the Jackson Estate who consulted the producers on logistics and historical details. Janet Jackson was involved with consulting, but she'd ultimately decided not to be in this movie. Some reports suggest that she just had too much criticism for the movie and she just did not want to be any part of it, and she chose not to be in the movie. There's also some family drama rumored to be behind the scenes, which at all these stories coming up on TikTok, I'm totally can see how that can happen. Paris Jackson also has some, and I don't know if you've seen this about the premiere on the red carpet. The only female on the red carpet was Jermaine's wife in The Crown, acting like she was the main star in the whole thing. None of the sisters were there. Paris wasn't there, and all because there was too much criticism. They didn't like how Michael Jackson was portrayed. Well, they didn't like how the movie portrayed him really. And one of the biggest things critics was Paris Jackson claiming the film I cannot talk, predicts a very specific section of her dad's fan base, which that he prefers to live in a fantasy life rather than confronting reality. Also, some reports found that she found it difficult to watch her cousin portraying her father without his own children having more of a direct role into the creative process. I was like, you guys don't even. This guy looks more like your dad than you guys look like your dad. So I don't know why you're complaining about that. Why? I mean, there are reports that Jermaine Jackson did not allow anyone else to play his brother unless it was his son. And she also, I'm talking about Paris here. Paris read an early draft of the movie and gave good feedback, and apparently all the filmmakers ignored her request, and that's why she was just bitter, and that's why she didn't really come to the premiere. It's incredible what they did with this, and my biggest complaint, I'm gonna have a lot of positive about this movie, but my biggest complaint is the same complaints for the past several biopics, like the Bob Marley, the Bob Dylan, like the Bruce Springsteen. It only scratches the surface of their actual story. Granted, this man's life, Michael Jackson, lived an incredible life. There's no way you can fit this into a 2-hour movie, so of course some stuff is gonna be left out, some stuff's gonna be skipped over. You can't complain about that. I personally can't complain about that, because there's already a Jackson 5 American Dream movie out there that came out in the 90s, early 2000s. That's a 3-hour long movie, and that was just mostly him and the Jackson 5 life, This one, it skips over a lot, every other scene, you're jumping 2 years, and it is, the pacing was a little bit too quick for me. It wasn't on beats, and most of the movies seemed just to get from one music video to another with a little bit of story in between. I had fun in this movie. My overall consensus of this movie, I had fun. If you're a big fan of Michael Jackson, which most people are, you're gonna love this movie. It's fantastic, and I have more criticisms we're gonna get into, but overall, my first reaction, I'm excited to go see this movie again. I've been listening to Michael Jackson all week because of it. What did you think about this opening day?
Yeah, dude. I wanted to love this movie. I was really excited to love this movie, and I came out of it just liking it. And I may even be making up for it in my head, because when I listed all my criticisms, it could fill up a book, Rob. But I try to, cancel out the noise and just focus on, did the movie entertain me? Was it well made? And did it cover enough? And I think it definitely did. But, similar to you, Jafar, like phenomenal interpretation of Michael. He really disappeared into it, and even when they were doing like the flashes of him singing it, like it felt like he was on screen. Like they did a really good job bringing that to life. And that's where they decided to stop. Everybody else in this movie besides his dad is an NPC, and I cannot for the life of me figure out
Yes.
why. Like it was driving me crazy. So much of this movie was about the relationship with family and the importance of the Jackson Five and like them being together, but they didn't dive at all into his brothers or like that dynamic like whatsoever, and it left a lot to be desired. I absolutely agree with you on the pacing. This movie felt like, highlight reel, time jump, highlight reel, big movie or big song comes out, 3 seconds of story, time jump. Like, so it was hard for me to find my footing on, really appreciating it from a story perspective. That being said, the musical moments were a blast. I didn't necessarily have people jumping up dancing, but everybody was rocking in my theater. Like so many nods, like it felt very fun and the audience truly did love it. But I think outside of that, when I think about his dad, Joe Jackson, we know so much about him, or at least, growing up, one, near Gary, like we have this inherent bias towards Michael, but especially like in the minority communities, which they touched on a little bit, like, he was such a big and massive figure, but specifically with Joe, like I don't think they did enough to make him the villain. And like maybe I'm too hardened in life, but there were so many moments in this movie I was like, or like, so what? Like, where is he being? He's an asshole, but where is the monster in him? And he kept like they also like either made him slightly reasonable too much for me, or they just didn't take it far enough with his abuse, which sounds crazy to say out loud, but I just at no real point in the movie did I feel like F this guy from like a guttural sense that we, would have needed.
I like half agree with you with that statement. Like, we'll start off with Joe Jackson. We'll go along the line, but we'll start with Joe Jackson. He does portray it as an evil stepdad, like not stepdad, but like evil dad, like making deals behind Michael Jackson's back, forcing him into do deals that he doesn't really care to do. Obviously, from the abuse, from hitting him with the belts, and then a little bit. But what the movie does, and maybe this is where you're talking about where it's undeserved, like they do villainize him a lot to the point where it's like unrealistic, almost like a cartoonish villain in this one, like, because everyone's afraid of this man. Everyone in this whole movie is afraid of this man. At the end of the day, he's just a man. Like, he can't really do what you're afraid he's gonna do. Like, yeah, he's gonna get in your face about it, but at the end of the day, like, what's he gonna do? What is he gonna do?
But not even really get in your face. One of the most climactic moments was when he gets fired, spoilers, and you think like, oh my God, he's about to, big blowout fight. He's about to lose it. And all he does is stand with like in front of the fridge with a piece of paper and go, wow, you did this to your own dad. That's crazy. And then walked away. I was like, that was it? Like, okay, I'll take that 10 times out of 10. That's what I mean. They just didn't take that far enough to convince me that he is truly this monster level villain.
And the same thing, like with when Michael made his first album, like they were scared to tell him, "Hey, Michael's gonna do his own album." He's like, "All right, cool."
He said,
let him do it.
Hey, as long as he shows up to our work at 9 a.m., he can do whatever he wants. That's why I say like he was slightly too reasonable. Like I was like, that's it. Like, okay, problem solved.
Yeah, but man, let's just talk about Coleman Domingo's performance because he was phenomenal. I'm predicting he's gonna get nominated Best Supporting Actor from this role alone. He's great.
I don't know. I think when I heard about him in this, I again thought that he would have a slightly more to do. And I think that's gonna hold this back. But yeah, I am with you though. Phenomenal performance.
Who else is in this movie that didn't realize until maybe like a week before?
Nia
Long. The fact that she was playing his mother was great, and like they talk about not getting enough screen time, but like not just her, but like her character was like seemed like such a pushover in this movie. Like I wish she might be in real life, but I want to see more. Like that was truly Michael's best friend for most of his life, like is his own mother. And you do see some scenes like that when they're watching that movies on the couch, but I want to see her more involved in that, like his life, because he is a big. There's scenes in the Jackson 5, the American Dream, like where she's consulting to him about like his insecurities, like his acne, his nose, and stuff like that. Like he really had limited people in his corner, and she was one of them. Like, give me more of that.
Yeah, and I know, like, obviously they're gonna dive into it a little bit deeper, hopefully, in the second movie, but exactly, like, I think what they were trying to portray, right, is because every single scene when it was just Michael and his mom was like Michael at his happiest. Like he's, they're eating ice cream, bro. They're watching movies. They're watching cartoons, and the dichotomy of the switch of him and his dad. Anytime his dad walks in the room, Michael's closed off or he's clammy. Like, but you also have to give me more. I'll talk about this, and then I'll get off the Joe thing. But like the abuse. And listen, there's no excuse for abuse, like ever, right? But I know, again, growing up in a minority household, spankings were very normalized back then. And the one that they showed him was when Michael was talking back, not to say that he deserved it, but like in my head, I was like, that is the progression of what would happen, 100%. And then I think there was like one more scene, like where he closed the door, like, and spanked him. And then like, it was never touched on again. Like, this is what I'm saying, where I'm like, you either didn't take it far enough, or you didn't dive into what that actually did to Michael to make Joe this force. Like, that was it. Like, not that, and again, I know that comes across as like I'm mitigating that abuse, but it's like they just, in my eyes, didn't do enough to portray it, because I genuinely was waiting for the other shoe to drop, and it just never did.
Yeah, okay, I can see it. That's probably like the biggest one of the, not the biggest, but like one of the complaints about the majority of the people watching this movie. Now let's just get into Jafar, because like the two main characters is Jafar and Coleman Domingo. Like, this is really the only, like
Literally.
you said, like, granted, this movie is called Michael. This is like, I'm not too complaining like oh, this soul wasn't that touched on. Like, it does suck, like a lot of these, but the movie's called Michael. It's Michael's movie. Ideally, in a perfect world, in my perfect world, this would have been a trilogy. This would have been a trilogy. Like, the first movie was Jackson 5, maybe leading up to a solo career. Second one is more of a solo career, like the bad area. And then the third one, like the allegations, like from the 90s till the time of his passing. And I hope they do, in the second movie, I hope we do see the funeral. I hope we do see everything that happens, like, because that's our history too. Like, we were part of that, and we didn't have a whole lot of history of Michael Jackson being alive, but we were sure there for his death. I would have loved the trilogy. I think that would have been phenomenal for this one. I also would love to see, maybe not in this same universe, but like down the line, give me a Jackson movie. Not just like about the other brothers. Give me one about the brothers. Like, yeah, you can have Michael in there, but like, what's being said behind closed doors? Like, how do they really feel? Like, I would like to see.
And
that might be a little bit
they felt
interesting.
like NPCs in this freaking movie, dude.
Yes.
Like, they did the one time they dove into something, it was a off stream. Like, your brother decided to stick with the other label, but we'll just have to move on. I was like, whoa, what do you mean? What? Like, how's that impacting everything? Like, they purposely did not give that in any breath.
Yeah, and I was reading some of the inaccuracies of the movies. Like, at that point, by the time he said that, they were like talking about the final tour or the last tour. They're like, at that point in time, they've gone on multiple tours without Jermaine in that one. And also at the same time, like around this time, one of the brothers has already moved out with kids. He has his own family, but they're portraying that everyone still is in this giant house. I don't know. But Jafar, let's talk about him. Jafar, like you said, you don't see Jafar at all. Like, you see Michael Jackson in this movie. He was phenomenal from his mannerisms, and I like the progression from like showing. They do address like his skin tone changing a little bit, and you do see it a little bit throughout the movie, him getting a little bit lighter and lighter. He has some like kind of thing with the skin where like he was having blotches of like where it seemed really light on the skin, and like he just pretty much masked it to match all of his skin tone to be the same. And the biggest thing was his nose job as well. They did touch on this one. Just him being insecure about it. I did think that was an inaccuracy. I think there was some kind of accident that caused him to get his first nose job, but then like someone else consulted him to get a second one. He had a multiple. The Pepsi thing was a little bit bigger than what I thought they were going to do in the movie. Like, that lasted way longer, and I have a reasoning why that he did that I'll talk about later. Some of the, like, one of the things I wish they would have did.
I'll pause there, because this was another key example that pissed me off, where obviously it was Coleman Domingo's, idea for them to go on this tour. Fine. It was his idea for the Pepsi commercial. Fine. It was working. And obviously Michael gets hurt, and they're like, Joe just can't be stopped. I was like, it's not his fault that Pepsi like didn't have the safety regulations. Like, that was a weird thing to throw on him. You're in this accident because of him. Like, that's where I was starting to get really aggravated.
But it was also him, like, in the emergency rooms, like, how soon can he start performing? He had no sympathy for Michael,
That was crazy.
Yeah, one of the things I wish they would have dove a little bit.
Okay, hold on, because now I'm thinking about it.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
you say that, and here's like the thing that like makes Coleman's delivery so phenomenal, and why maybe he might get, because it was layered, right? On paper, and this is like kind of the theme of the entire movie. He was absolutely looking out for like the business end, like, hey, how do we get back to making money? But his line or justification of that being like, I know my son and he's not going to feel whole again until he's back on stage was true. Like we saw that Michael's felt that way. And it kind of goes back to like the scene where he's talking to the mom and he's like, everything is because of me. And she's like, no, everything's because of Michael. And he's like, Michael would not be here. Like I pushed him, like I made him this way. And she's like, you can think that. And I find that so like fascinating. And I wish they would talk about that more, because he's not wrong, dude. Like Michael's a perfectionist because of the things that he instilled in him. We can say that those things were toxic and wrong and they shouldn't have happened that way, but there is some gray area here. How'd you feel about like how they handled that piece of it?
I guess totally see your point, and I've always thought that too. Like the same thing with Selena and her dad. Like she was
100%.
one of the greatest actresses. Like, but they had a tough dad. Like that was riding their ass the whole fucking time, like beating that perfectionism in them. And I've always thought that too. And I, like you said, is it right? No, but like,
yeah, never gonna justify.
I think at a certain point of his career, you can't credit. You gotta stop crediting Joe like for his success. Then, like once he makes his first album, like without him, like dude, like you just wanted the cash grab now. You just wanted to ride his coattails now. Like yeah, he's doing it, and it's not like the brothers weren't working. They were still making music. They were still touring without him. Like it's not like they just wanted to make more money because they see Michael was making more money. Especially Jermaine. Like Jermaine was always jealous that. Because originally Jermaine was supposed to be the original like the lead singer of the Jackson 5, and Michael just stole the show. But as I was saying, like one of the things I wish I was seeing more in this movie was more the creations of the song. I want to see more inspiration, more of the collaborations. Like the only thing we got to see was like was a Beat It and like his inspiration for that, like because he's watching the news, which is cool. I like that a lot. Maybe we can kind of get the hint of why he made Thriller, because he loves horror movies. Yeah, but give me like Dirty Diana. Give me like Man in the Mirror, which Man in the Mirror I think wasn't supposed to be in this movie, but it got cut because like that came with the allegation part. But like his first solo record has so many great hits. Like how did you make that? One of his biggest collaborations and scene in the trailer was Quincy Jones, only in that one scene. And they didn't cut, like they didn't really talk about any of his movies, like The Wiz, which is where him and Quincy Jones met. Like, and you don't really see that collaboration and his inspiration with making the movies. It was pretty cool to see his relationship with his lawyer, Miles Teller's character, and how he would have the balls and like, that's my guy. It was pretty cool.
One of my favorite scenes in the movie by far. He
was like Miles Teller. I was like, I seen him in that bad wig in the trailer. It's like that seems out of place, but like, you know what? He made that movie work. I liked, and then I've seen side by side comparisons of like him and the person in real life, and okay, it's not too far off. And then Miles Teller has nothing. I've read him in interviews, and like he had nothing but nice things to say about the whole family, like the actors, let's just say. And yeah, it's incredible. The pacing was unfortunate, like I said, but it's a big life you have to cover. It's a big life, and then Gary, Indiana, we've seen an outlook shot like of the mills in the background a little bit too. Like we like you said, we grew up down the street from there. We've been to the house before, and you not really spend a whole lot of time there though, other than that, like exterior wise. And the sisters were left out besides like the one Latoya's in there. Excuse me if that's her name. I can't remember her name off the top of my head. She's in there, but Janet Jackson left out completely. And like I said, if they ever make a Jackson's movie with more about the family, yeah, give her some time to shine. But I don't know. Everyone in this movie was phenomenal. The music was great. The CGI with the animals, like Bubbles and some other things, and also the CGI with crowd work, which is kind of similar to the Bohemian Rhapsody, where you could tell like it's a CGI crowd. You could tell they're not really there, and that was a little bit hard for me to watch. But like I can understand why they're not going to work with a real life monkey on set, But
yeah. And
this movie was also a lot more funnier than I thought it was going to be too.
Definitely.
Like some of the how it was funnier when people were afraid to go talk to Joe Jackson. Prince, they threw a line in there about Prince in this movie. I thought that was hilarious. I love that line actually. And it was a fun watch overall. If you're a big fan of Michael Jackson, I think you're gonna love it. Closing thoughts on it before we get into some other facts that I have about the movie. What did you think about it? Closing thoughts? Are you gonna go see this movie again?
I'm glad they made it. I'm kind of like over the musical biopics at this point, but again, like I said, growing up where we did and just like around our community, we know how larger than life Michael was. So this one felt like it would obviously come eventually, and I'm glad they at least waited until they could get someone in his family who can look, dance, and sing like him, to pay some proper respect, I guess, to that idea, but also not gonna hide away from it. Very controversial figure, and there's a lot of allegations that need to be explored in the next movie. They absolutely should not leave him off the hook. But if you want to try to capture this time in a bottle, this was the movie that did that for this specific version. And then for that, it worked. It was fun, and like I said, they did a really good job with the performances. But I think from a story aspect, it leaves a lot to be desired. I think I'd give it about like a 3.5 out of 5. So still very positive on it. What about you?
I would probably get on 4 out of 5. I give it. This is the first initial watch. Like, I have been very nitpicky about it, but overall I had a good time. On a second watch, I might be more rough and it might be dropped down to 3.5. But it's definitely worth a second watch for me. I'm definitely gonna try to take my dad. I might even try to take my grandmother to go see it because this is something for everybody. Like who's lived, like who was born like since 2009. Like if you lived in this Wildest Man Alive, like how big of a deal he was, and I think everyone should benefit from seeing it. It's a history movie, after all, like. Yeah, I have some stuff here because I had to look up why they reshot stuff and what did they end up reshooting. Some of the reasons they were reshooting after filming wrapped, attorneys for the Jackson estate, the co-producers of the movie, discovered that a 1994 settlement with the accuser Jordan Chandler contained a clause forbidding his family's story from being used in a commercial purposes or depicted in film. Now, the original script portrayed Michael as a victim of extortion and greedy parents, and the Jackson estate admitted that they initially overlooked this and this legal restriction when it was greenlighting the movie. This movie did have originally a darker, way darker tone in this movie because of the allegations. And the third act, the third act of the movie was originally going to be depicted as the 1993 scandal and its impact on the Jackson's life. They filmed actually a high-stakes sequence of investigators arriving at Neverland Ranch to search evidence, which included a dramatization of Michael Jackson, being subjected to a strip search. A pivotal opening and closing scene for this movie, because like right now I think we just opened up with him walking out as the bad toward like the final performance. That was not the case in the original movie. It was going to end up with it's going to start with a sorrowful Michael Jackson staring at his reflection in the mirror while police lights were flashing in the background, which is going to be, that was cut entirely. What was replaced that we've seen in the movie, it was changed to conclude the night. It copped out. It skipped all that altogether. Like it stopped in 1998, which the allegations were like 4 years later. So it copped out a little bit. It didn't really. And because of that, they leaned more into the relationship between him and his father. Like that was enhanced tremendously for this movie. And also what they did to make up for a little bit more time is they added more scenes and made the Pepsi commercial like a little bit bigger deal than what it, I wouldn't say a bigger deal than what it was, but they focus on it more than, which is kind of odd. There's so much more stuff you could add in this movie than this Pepsi thing. Like, yeah, it was a big part of his life. But like I was like, damn, like we're probably spending 25 minutes on this whole Pepsi thing. It was a lot of time. And so, like we said, we could see like his Quincy Jones relationship or his other relationship. There was a lot of relationship stuff with him and his bodyguard, which I liked. But I was like, this is not everybody. Like this is who we're just deciding to focus on. But who cares? And they shifted the tone, leaning towards the domineering relationship between Michael and his dad. Also made the Pepsi thing and it's bigger than originally. Like as I said, 30% of the movie was scrapped, and that could possibly release in the future sequel. And Lionsgate, as I mentioned before, has not officially greenlighted a sequel, but it promises, but it more likely will move if it reaches 700 million, which, as we discussed, it's already 200 million, like you said, on the way there. It's definitely going to do it by, when do you predict? I would say a month. This is going to stay in theaters for a long time, I feel like, because it's doing so well. And in the 90s, there's going to be more focus on the coverage from the 90s to the 2000s. Hopefully, the construction of Neverland will see a little bit more in there. There's 2 more albums after the 80s, that we hope we can see. Is going to focus more on his legal allegations. Potential release dates 2028, which will make sense because they have to film it next year if they get greenlighted, maybe possibly end it this year. Yeah. What would you want to see in the possible sequel if they do? And you've talked about a little bit throughout this whole thing.
Yeah, similar to kind of what you just covered. Put the allegations back in. Don't care. Like, investigate it. I know that obviously there's some legal repercussions and guardrails, but I think you would be doing everyone a disservice if you just only make this through the lens of how great he was when there's so many clouds around.
Was there any songs that were not in this movie that you wish were in there?
No, probably just Man in the Mirror is the one I was looking out for, but I know that they went back in time or didn't go that further in time, I guess. But no, I was waiting for Billie Jean. I'm a big Billie Jean lover. Obviously, the Thriller album, and I know we talked about it, but him watching the movie and then having like the inspiration to do that was just awesome. And I had fun with that.
Same thing. I would love to see Remember the Time. But I think that was a little bit further past in this next album. Maybe I could be wrong about that. Yeah, just like I hope they focus more on the music making a little bit more, and maybe his movie career too, because he also did he did a couple movies that they don't really, no
Yeah,
one ever really
I,
talks
I
about.
I absolutely want to see more thought behind how he made these albums and his reaction to it, because I think that was another big thing that I really like that they touched on, of like the psychology of him being like, no, I'm not gonna do interviews because if Haley's Comet came every year, would you watch, like, would you look out for it? Like, there needs to be mystery behind the celebrity, and watching him become larger than life, and for him to sit at the kitchen table and talk about how he's not like everybody else and how left out he feels, to later in the movie where he's literally getting in the car and stands on top of it, and the whole street is just
Yeah,
filled with his fans. Like, he's the biggest star on the planet and no one's reached that level of success yet. I would love for them to explore
I was
this
thinking
psyche.
about that actually after the movie. I was thinking about like why has no one reached the level of success? I think, not saying he didn't deserve it, because like he was talented and I could see why people loved him, and I still love him, but like I think a big part of it has to do was there was no social media back then. Like you had
Well,
to
it's
go see him if
100%,
you wanted to see him.
1000%. Could not agree more.
Yeah, like
There
versus like
Well, and what's the word? Oversaturation of the market. Bro, like there was just a handful of people who could do what he could do, and he was the top level. Now there's so many talented people, and you can go, like, everything's so niche and everyone has their own communities. Like, it's hard. Like, literally the person next to him on that fame list in our generation is literally Taylor Swift, like selling out billions and billions of dollars. In like the last stadium tour was the closest we'll get, and we see how criticized she is for just existing. Like, and I'm one of her criticizers. So I think it's hard to get everybody on the same page about someone at that level.
I agree. One of the things I do want to see in the next movie, I want to see his children too. I want to see him becoming a dad and see how that was affected. I want to see him dangling his kid over the balcony. Let's get a touch on that.
Jesus, Rob. All right.
Yeah, I want to see how that played over. I remember that being a huge deal. There was something else I had for this movie. I can't remember off the top of my head. Did you buy the Michael Jackson popcorn bucket, the fedora?
No, I did not. I'm saving all of my money for the Devil's Wears Prada popcorn bucket.
My sister was talking about it. She kind of is trying to convince me to buy it, and I might, because I like that popcorn bucket. I'm not gonna
It's a
ever
dope popcorn
I don't know.
bucket.
It's cool to add to the
I don't have a
collection.
use
It's
for
a
it,
pretty
but
cool
yeah,
prop.
I might get it for myself
You
for
see me
a
walking
late
around with
birthday
it.
present.
Yeah. And I think you seen I posted on my story, like AMC. I didn't know they did this, but I hopefully you got yours too. Like they give you free popcorn bucket and free popcorn and drink on your birthday. That's pretty cool. Man, there was something else I had for this movie, but I guess it's gonna have to wait till next episode if I can think of it. I'm definitely gonna go see this movie again. Brandon. Next week, Devil Wears Product. It's gonna be another big movie. From here on out, I'm pretty sure we're pretty
We're
stacked
back.
until
We're back.
fall, the
We're
rest of
back.
the summer. Yeah, we're back. The next show to conclude is Daredevil. I think we have maybe 3 or 4 more episodes left, if I'm not mistaken. And then from there, I'm just binge watching The Pit, dude. You got me hooked. I'm glad I took your
Hell
advice.
yeah.
I'm pinned on it. Yeah, I guess it's gonna have to be it because it's all I can think about.
All right.
Brandon, good episode. Thank you for everyone listening. We're going to be coming back next year, both wearing red handbag purses, and stay tuned.
Uh,
Next week we'll be saving you a seat.